Hi, this is Seemanta here. I am leading the retail practice in Tredence for the last 2.5 to 3 years now. So in the retail practice, right? So if you look at the retail domain as of now, it is a market full of competitors, right? So there are a lot of retailers who have gone through a lot of changes in the way they do their operations, right? So a lot of retailers now have become omni-channel, and that is essentially because of the fact that customers prefer to have a convenient and personalized shopping experience, right? They don't prefer just to shop in, let's say, in store or online. They would prefer to shop in both the channels. They would have certain operations are there nowadays to even order online and then pick up in the store, right? So it's based on convenience that different groups of customers prefer different channels to shop. Now, keeping that in backdrop, right? So it becomes very essential to have a holistic view of the customer, right? So essentially, technology, data, and analytics play a very key role in understanding the purchase behavior of the customer, right? And their experience across these different channels. So we at Tredence, we work with a lot of big retailers, some of the biggest retailers, in fact. And we work across different retail functions, right? So like customer experience, omni-channel marketing, merchandising operations, supply chain, and customer analytics, of course, right? Now we work across all these channels and provide information to make informed decisions, right? And obviously to make informed decisions, you need to make it last mile adoption kind of insights, right? So essentially what it means is whatever you do has to be consumed by the end stakeholder to make a difference in the daily operations, right? So just to give you an example of the flavor of work that we do in these different retail functions. So if I take customer experience, right? So in the customer experience side, we have developed a framework which measures the experience across the journey of a customer, right? And not just a specific touch point. So what do I mean by a journey of a customer? So let's consider a customer can go to the online website. He or she can shop anything from the website, and once they shop, suppose for some reason they did not like the product, right? They can go to the store and return it too, right? Which means this is a end-to-end journey that a customer goes through, right? And this journey can be within a channel or across channels, right? Across channels is what I just mentioned, that you purchase online and then you return in the store. Now we have devised this kind of journeys where you can measure the experience of the customer at each touch point in the journey, right? So this gives you a holistic view of how the customer has been interacting with the retailer and trying to understand where there might be a break point, right? Or where is that the customer is feeling the experience is not too high or the experience is good, right? So that is the kind of, so we have devised this whole framework, and it is kind of a scalable framework which encompasses across multiple journeys, right? And this is being used by some of the very high key stakeholders in the customer office, right, of one of the largest retailers. And they make this use these dashboards to make decisions on what they should improve to, let's say, impact or move their NPS score, right? This is essentially on the customer experience front. Now, if we come to the supply chain side of it, right? So in the supply chain world, we have devised a solution for one of the biggest, it's a a membership-based retailer. So wherein we have devised their operations and planning solution, right, from the supply chain side. So what we have done is we have built, so this whole framework was built on Azure platform, wherein we have used a lot of machine learning models to forecast the number of trailers that their fulfillment centers would need, and basically scheduled the pickup of the items, right, from the fulfillment center to the delivery point, right? So this is essentially a very, you can consider it as end-to-end work of developing a solution which involves encompassing data across different supply chain systems, and then integrating all of this, running certain kind of machine learning models to forecast the number of packages, and then basically building the solution which can be consumed by the user or the FC manager in this case, right, who can make decisions of when they should be scheduling their trailer pickups for the carriers, right. This is the kind of work that we have done on the supply chain. Now, a key channel of a retailer in this days is the online channel, right? And as I said before, the personalized experience of a customer is something that they really value, right? So you as a customer would want to have certain products displayed to you which suits you and your needs, right? So we have developed personalized recommendation engine for the e-commerce website of that retailer, right? Which is basically, we have looked at different cohorts of customers, looked at their buying patterns, looked at what they have bought and what their need is, and then for similar customers, this engine recommends products which are most likely to be bought by the customer, right, based on their needs, their purchase behavior, as well as people who are similar to their profile, right? So this gives you, so if I have to just summarize, this is basically the kind of work that we do in the retail analytics space for some of the biggest retailers, right? And all of this work is basically, we try to develop solutions which could be consumed by a stakeholder at any level, right? May it be the field manager or the CXO level person, right? So that's pretty much from the retail space. Just to give you a perspective of what kind of workplace Tredence is and what can you expect if you are here, from the kind of day-to-day life that you would spend here, right? So essentially, if you are like a business analyst, right, then you would essentially be working on solving the problem right from understanding the data, right? We deal with different kinds of data, right, in the retail space also, or if you go to any other domain, inside the domain there might be different types of data. So first step is to basically understand what are the different data sources that are available, what do these data sources imply, right? And then essentially you try to understand what hypothesis can I draw which might connect to the problem that I'm trying to solve, right? And one key skill that you learn as a business analyst is basically you need to question a lot to understand what really the problem is and why of the problem, right? So that you understand, what you're solving, what is that you want to achieve at the end of it, right? So we emphasize on that a lot more, which I think makes it a little bit more interesting than just coming and coding certain things, right? And then on a day-to-day life, you will have quite frequent interactions either with the on-site or the client, right? Maybe daily you'll have a couple of calls if it is on-site, or weekly or bi-weekly calls with the client, right? Wherein you will interact with some of the key stakeholders from the business. Now, if you are in a managerial kind of role, right? So then you will essentially your world will revolve around the team, right? How do I grow the team? what kind of skill sets do I require to make this team successful, what is the learning that I can provide to make my team members successful, right? So in Tredence, we have a lot of different avenues for learning. So we have in-class or classroom kind of trainings which happen periodically. We also have, we encourage a lot on, you can learn from outside and we will pay for it, right? So it's called You Learn, We Pay program, right? Then we also encourage a lot of open sessions, which we call a lot of industry experts to learn from, right? So if you're a manager, you will think more about upscaling your team, growing your team. How do I get the work done? And how is that I can make an impact for a client, right? So you'll be working in a lot of interesting problems, trying to solve problems which you might not have solved before, right? And in the same time, you have access to a lot of people, a lot of talented people here who would have worked in different domains, different technologies compared to you, right? So we have the engineering team also, which has a lot of expertise in different types of tools and techniques that have worked. We have the data science team, which have expertise in data science, machine learning, and all those algorithms, right? So you can interact with a lot of these people to get some of your work done. And we encourage that type of interaction because that brings a different perspective to solving the problem. And so apart from the usual work, we have a lot of fun activities also going around. So there is a lot of, if you're interested in music, then you can join the music group that we have here. They do play a lot of rock and roll. And apart from that, we also have a lot of open cult sessions. So we have a tie-up with cult, so the trainers come in and you have a 1 hour session almost like every other day, right? And apart from that, we have all the other facilities like PlayStation, table tennis. So we encourage people to have fun and work, so that is the primary motive. So whenever you are kind of tired, take a break, do some of these fun activities, and then come back and again get back to solving the problem. So if you're, interested in working in some of this, interesting problems, so I guess, if you're passionate about analytics to make a difference, then I think Tredence is one of the best places to work for.